A growing number of states are promising to stop promoting students who haven't learned to read by the end of third grade. It's a controversial idea we first reported on 2 years ago. Tonight, special correspondent John Telenko of Learning Matters Television, which produces reports on education for the NewsHour, returned to Ohio to see how that's working.
2 years ago, the city of Cincinnati and others across Ohio faced a major problem. On a national reading test, 60% of fourth graders were failing, a gap that many we spoke with then feared would just grow wider.
We don't teach reading in fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh grade. So if they haven't learned that, they're not going to learn it. And that's just unacceptable.
So 2 years ago, Republican State Senator Peggy Lehner put a wall around fourth grade, passing legislation that promised to hold back any third grader who failed the state's reading test. Ohio called it the third grade reading guarantee.
It's now or never. We're finished with passing kids along that are unable and unprepared to actually reach success at the higher grade levels.
At the outset, third grade teacher Linda Hissett of Carson Elementary in Cincinnati welcomed the guarantee and saw it as a solution.
I have some students who are at a kindergarten level reading, first grade level reading, second grade. I look at it with dismay.
Keep going.
But Carson's principal, Ruthenia Jackson, was wary of the guarantee. Some 40% of her students were in danger of being held back.
The research shows that if you retain children over, it does not help them down the line because they're just getting older in the grade, and then eventually they'll get in high school and they'll just drop out. Who wants to be 17 in ninth grade? Nobody.
No doubt the reading guarantee had raised the stakes considerably for Ohio's 125,000 third graders and their teachers. But how would it all turn out? Would the threat to hold students back spur schools to innovate? Just how many students would make it over the bar? What emerged in the end is a story with both good news and bad news, and we'll tell it in that order.
The result was remarkable. 96% of our third graders passed the test this year.
We returned recently to speak with Senator Lehner, who told us Ohio's results have a simple explanation.
That kind of improvement is incredible. But that only came about because of a lot of hard work, a lot of attention to the importance of reading.
Thank you.
Carson Elementary seemed to be a case in point. Ruthenia Jackson is still principal.
So 2 years ago, you were apprehensive.
Yes.
How do you feel about the reading guarantee today?
Pretty good. It's and that's because we're making some gains.
So today,
Reading scores here had risen 10 points, following changes made across the school. The entire staff had been reassigned to teach individual subjects. That way, the strongest reading teachers could concentrate on that.
All right, Jezreel, let's check that vowel before you write. Do that.
Reading specialists were also brought in, with some $13 million Ohio set aside for schools.
Now we have two. One reading specialist works with those kids what we consider non-readers and teaching them phonics.
Chip. Color tiles, please.
The second specialist focuses on kids just on the cusp of passing. For everyone else, local high school students were brought in as volunteer tutors. There were reading workshops for parents. Hundreds of books were sent to homes. And in the end, 94% of Carson's third graders passed Ohio's reading test and were promoted.
all right, keep on reading.
Good news for early supporters of the reading guarantee, like Linda Hissett.
What we've started here is hugely different than how it was prior to 3 years ago. And the focus that they have on the reading and the intensity is just totally different tone.
College.
But how different was it? Hissett's third grade class still had struggling readers,
But
more than a few.
the school was too easy for
And we found the reading guarantee, which had promised to bring everyone up to grade level, had another side.
To answer if the kids are more prepared is very hard because a lot of the kids that we actually educate, a lot of them will leave.
40%, in fact, while another 40% come in, all mid-year. This revolving door, not unusual in urban schools, poses problems for the reading guarantee.
We get non-readers. We will get a third grader who's never heard of a sound, cannot read.
So is it that the reading guarantee, it only works in a bubble?
Right. Exactly true.
You want to share yours, Micaiah?
Was it any better in Carson's 4th grade? Remember, under the guarantee, to get here, students first had to pass a test, prove they were ready. 4th grade teacher Maria Cleveland.
How many of your kids are actually reading at a 4th grade level?
Probably 50%. The reality is that kids are all over the place. They just aren't ready for some of the things. I mean, kids don't know how to sound out words. They're working on some phonics skills that they never received. It's an eye-opener.
And yet, all of them passed Ohio's reading test, and that could be the bigger problem.
They get to take it multiple times, the same test. They get to take it in the fall. If they don't pass it, they take it again in the spring. If they don't pass it, they take it again in the summer, and now they've thrown in a new test.
And how high was the bar? Turns out the score for promotion, advancing to 4th grade, was set below the mark that defines a proficient reader.
They're different scores, and here's why. This is a very, very hard policy. Parents don't want their kids retained. Schools don't want to retain them. It's expensive to retain them, $10,000 a year. If we had set those at the exact same level, at that proficient level, which is, of course, where we want kids to be, this policy would have been dead within a year.
I don't think that little window of promotable versus proficient is really anything to discuss because it's too close. It's like 3 questions.
To Hissett, the lower pass score is a good thing because it gives students a cushion, which makes sense, she says, when the test is high stakes.
It's an isolated day. Who knows what happened the night before? Who knows if they had sleep? Who knows if they even ate dinner? So yes, if they've got the basic skills and they can at least get it close, it's that little shadow of a doubt, that's fine with me.
But a big shadow of doubt still hangs over Ohio's 96% pass rate. A close look at test documents reveals more on just how low the bar was set. Ohio will promote 3rd graders, even if they lag behind 85% of their peers nationwide.
Aren't you just setting those kids up for failure?
No, I think they're getting help because we have focused this attention on reading, and the teachers are aware.
That to me, now this is just my opinion, that to me would be a state issue, wanting to make it look like, the kids are doing better.
Well, if they want to take that attitude, fine. But what we're trying to do here is so terribly important. It's important that we do it right and not try to do it all at once. That only invites failure.
Ohio is on track to slowly raise the score for promotion until it matches the score for proficient. At the higher mark, Ohio 3rd graders will still lag behind roughly 75% of their peers nationwide. In Cincinnati, Ohio, I'm John Tulenko reporting for the NewsHour.